With the possibility of the largest budget in Florida history, the legislative session gets underway. First-time lawmakers letting us know about their experience, plus their excitement to be on the House floor. Plus, turning the vacant shipyards in Jacksonville into something vibrant. New proposals delivered to City Hall and now discussed on This Week in Jacksonville. Thanks for joining us. As we've told you leading up to this year's legislative session, there are a lot of new faces representing Northeast Florida. I caught up with 4 of the 5 new state reps, and you can see the excitement as they begin this part of the journey.
Lord, help us to find a common denominator as we represent and serve your people in Florida.
Jacksonville's Kimberly Daniels is one of 5 new state lawmakers from Northeast Florida. She opened with prayer in the House this week ahead of the annual ceremonies to open the legislative session. Daniels is a Democrat and joined in the Duval delegation by Democrat Tracy Davis, also a first-time legislator.
It's quite exciting. Actually, I'm still taking it all in, to be honest with you. But I'm so thankful to the voters of District 13 who felt that it was me that they chose to send here to Tallahassee, so I'm very thankful to them, and I'm thankful to be here, but it is quite exciting.
Here's the other question, is about the Speaker says, here are my priorities, and basically said we are not going to have the largest budget in Florida history when Governor Scott comes in and says, here's my budget proposal, and it is the biggest one. How do you decide who do you back or fall in line with?
That's a great question, and it's hard to answer that. I think just standing here right now and having not gone through the rest of the session, but I think you have your own priorities, actually, and my priorities are those of House District 13. So I will make sure I fight for my district, and hopefully I end up on the right side of that, but voters chose me to come here and fight for their priorities in our community back home. We have some appropriation bills that we're trying to get back for the city that'll bring back millions of dollars, and that's what we're here to do. So we're going to let them have their back and forth and their camaraderie going on, and we're going to let that play out. But I'm here to do a job for House District 13.
I asked Senator Gibson about this because on the Senate side, we see it. On the House side, too, it seems like most of the bills that are moving forward all have an R attached next to that state representative's name. Is it tough as a Democrat to try and move your issues forward here when it's so controlled by Republicans?
Yeah, I think the last time someone asked me that, I said it's a chess game, and I really feel like that. But you have to understand there's a relationship building process here that you have to go through, and that's what I'm going to concentrate on. I just keep saying it over and over. It's definitely about building the relationships across the aisle to get those things done, and I know we can get them done, and I will get them done because I'm really going to work hard to get those relationships going across the aisle. So it's definitely about relationships.
Davis and Daniels are the local Democrats. 3 Republicans joined Duval delegation leader Jay Fant in the House of Representatives. Clay Yarbrough served in Jacksonville City Council and now represents House District 12, something he calls a pretty big deal.
This is an awesome responsibility we have, Ken. I appreciate y'all being over here and covering these important issues for our state and our city. We have a big task in front of us. I mean, the Speaker has given his charge. The Governor's come in to tell us the state of the state and what the priorities should be and what his budget is going to look like. We have a lot of work. I think the House and the Senate are up to the task, and I'm looking forward to getting started.
Yeah, I just spoke to Senator Bean, who says, oh, the Senate, we approach things differently than the House. The House, it seems like you're going to have to make some choices between being on the Governor's side or the Speaker's side. How do you line up so far? I know it's new.
The biggest, now I appreciate the question, the biggest thing right now that we have in front of us is Visit Florida and EFI, which are, of course, both important priorities and all. What we've seen happen over the past 2 weeks is, initially we started at a point of, both of them were totally going away, but now what we see this week is you have Visit Florida that is being proposed to move under the Department of Economic Opportunity and basically be able to remain for a bit. There's still a proposal to totally cut EFI, but there's some chatter about whether or not there might be some level of funding that could be maintained. Now this is a freshman, so it's not gospel from me. It's just, again, what I hear is, at the end of the day, maybe it's more of a kind of a policy discussion versus budgetary. So maybe there's some room for a budget allotment to still be there versus making some of the policy tweaks and fixes and things like that. Again, that's just kind of what I hear, but I don't understand all the nuances at this point. But the biggest thing at the end of the day, we have to do what's best for Florida. We definitely want our state to be be attractive, capitalize on what we have, but you have to find the right balance there. If you're spending public money, you have to have accountability, you have to have transparency. I admire the Speaker's commitment on that because we can't shy away from that. We have to make sure all the priorities are balanced at the end of the day and do what's best for Florida. So,
how important for our area, for Northeast Florida, is Visit Florida and what they do? Because I've heard some people pretty passionate about it hurts us already just having the discussion out there that maybe we're not going to invest this way.
Yeah, I mean, again, a balance, because like, for example, when I was on city council, I went over with the Jaguars and with the business community to London, and we saw over there, an impression in some in London and other parts over there that when they think of Florida, they think of Miami and the mouse. Well, we have a lot more in Florida. Those are great. I'm not, our friends in Central and South Florida, that's great. But we're open for business. We have a lot to offer. We have Jacksonville, we have the Panhandle, we have other parts of Florida. We need to capitalize on all of that and make sure that we're marketing that. But again, you have to have a balance. You're using public money. You have to have accountability. You have to have transparency. I can't justify to constituents $1 million contract to a rap artist, to do something like that. That to me was not a good decision. We have to make sure we're spending dollars the right way and answering to our constituents and our taxpayers.
Nassau County and the beaches had been represented by Janet Adkins. Well, now Neptune Beach attorney Cord Bird has the job. It's also got a pretty big smile talking about the work to be done there.
It was very exciting. It's great to be part of the Florida legislature and to hear the governor and the Senate president and the speaker come together and talk about Florida's future.
The speaker lays out his priorities. Governor comes in and says, these are my priorities. And it sounds like folks like you're going to have to make a choice. Which side of the debate you're going to stand on, right?
Well, on the side of Floridians. I mean, there are going to be some tough choices, but I think the message we heard today is that Florida is open for business and that we are going to do what we need to do to create jobs for everybody and make it fair for all Floridians.
Yeah. I heard one of the leader of the Duval delegation told me last night, yeah, we're going to have to make some choices. And I might, in his case, Mr. Fant said, I might have to choose not to align with the Speaker of the House, even though we support leadership. Have you made a decision on that yet?
Well, I have, and I think what we need to do is look at a plan that's fair for all Floridians and for every taxpayer in the state, for small businesses and large businesses.
Yeah. Okay, the other side. How is this for the family? I mean, the first time you get to be part of this, but your family's here also, right?
It was a lot of fun, yes. My wife Esther and daughter Lexi were in the gallery today looking down, and I wouldn't be here but for them, and very thankful that they're supportive.
You got a really big smile there. Are you enjoying this?
I am. I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Thank you.
One more new voice to hear from Jason Fisher, former Duval County School Board member, newly elected to serve in House District 16 of Jacksonville. The Republican has a different take on the controversy over Enterprise Florida and Visit Florida and is wide-eyed about his first legislative session.
It's amazing. It's the first time being on the House floor with the governor coming in to speak to us and the speaker speaking beforehand. This is an amazing process to be a part of.
Some notes of discord already because the Speaker of the House says, I want this and this is my priority, and Governor Scott comes right behind him and says, I got different priorities. How do you decide who you line up with?
Well, there might be some issues where there's non-alignment, but if you listen to the Speaker's speech and the Governor's speech, you'll see that there was some alignment, right? Cutting taxes, making sure that families could keep more of their money so they could go out to the movies or they could take their kids out to the, to dinner and things like that. And so I think there's alignment on tax cuts. There's alignment on education. Actually, I'm going to leave here and go to a committee and vote on a bill to expand school choice, some voucher programs, and the education scholarship accounts. So there's alignment on tax cuts. There's alignment on education. I think we're in for a good 60 days.
And over the past month, we've shared your comments, or most of your lawmakers' comments from the local area. And at session, we got to speak with State Rep Travis Cummings, one of the few veterans remaining in the House from our area. The Fleming Island rep says he doesn't want to fight other Republicans over the next 2 months. He wants to fight for some special Northeast Florida issues.
Sure, I thought Speaker Corcoran's comment and opening speech to start session, Kent, was great, and while clearly we're very principled and on our key issues, I think there's a far more we can agree on with not only the Senate, but the governor and the executive branch, and I thought the governor's speech was very good, and once again, there's a lot of common ground. There's some few contentious issues, as we know, but I think that's what a 60-day session's for, and we'll work through it. Everyone's reasonable. We respect the position of our great governor for this state, and obviously we're well led with Speaker Corcoran and Senate President Negron. Got a lot of great members that are here for the right reasons, and we're off and running.
So what are the big issues for your area when it comes to these 60 days? And obviously, you guys have put in a few months already trying to get ready for what happens here.
Well, you know, you continue to get a lot of publicity with, you know, the St. Johns River, and it was exposed more in the hurricane with some failing septic systems. And so I'm proud to be sponsoring budget legislation with a partnership with JEA and the City of Jacksonville, $15 million to start chipping away of moving folks from septic to obviously much more high quality and environmentally friendly sewer systems and solutions, as well as working with Senator Bradley with $35 million of Amendment 1 dollars, which we feel that our part of the state needs to get more of those resources for the river and tributaries and Keystone Lakes.
Rather than that money going south, Everglades, wherever, right?
That's right. You know, the Indian River Lagoon, the Everglades, Lake Okeechobee are very important issues, but we feel that, you know, that more of those resources need to be spread throughout the state, particularly to our river and our natural resource in Northeast Florida.
Changing gears, we're a month away from hearing what the city likes best among 3 proposals to develop or redevelop the shipyards. One of the groups describes itself as one spark on steroids that never leaves town. More of that vision next.
So I want my glasses to be unique. My girlfriend loves artists. And I need a conservative pair because her parents hate artists.
Get up to 40% off a second pair of glasses. Schedule your eye exam at pearlvision.com.
Hi guys, my name's Julia, and look at what I found at my local Goodwill. Stop by today and shop all the new fall fashions at one of our convenient locations. Donate, shop, jobs. Good things for North Florida with Goodwill.
This is a ClassAction.com consumer alert. Homes built before 1975 may have pipe erosion that can cause major water damage to your home. If you have water damage, warped floors, slow drains, or even a water-stained wall, you may have leaking pipes below your foundation, right under your feet. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Call or visit pipelawsuit.com now to learn more.
Get to Nissan now and save on a lineup with intelligent safety features and America's best truck warranty. Take on the everyday with 6 2017 IIHS top safety picks. It's clear why we're America's fastest growing auto brand. Get to Nissan now for great offers like 0% financing for up to 72 months on 11 models, or save up to $10,000 on select models.
We blindfolded Dale and told him to find the chicken with no antibiotics. Thing is, by federal law, all chickens must be clear of antibiotics before they leave the farm. How's it going, Dale?
Working on it.
Some chicken companies try to get you to spend more money by using labels like raised without antibiotics. At Sanderson Farms, we don't believe in gimmicks like that.
Well, how'd I do?
No antibiotics to worry about here.
That was easy.
Fresh, delicious chicken from Sanderson Farms.
Storm Pins, the weather sharing app. Fun family beach day, pin it. Unexpected rainbow, pin it. A fast moving storm, pin it. The Weather Authority Storm Pins, powered by Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
For top quality floors at rock bottom prices, there's no place like Floor & Decor. Over 1 million square feet of tile, wood, and stone flooring in stock. You have to see it to believe it. Visit us at your local Floor & Decor or flooranddecor.com.
This hallway leads to one of the most controversial legal drugs in Florida. News 4 Jax is taking you behind the scenes of the new marijuana industry. Location hidden, security cameras watching, heavily guarded, cell phones banned, busting myths, clearing the confusion. Why local families could have difficulty getting their hands on these drugs. High relief. Monday on News 4 Jax at 5:40. You're watching This Week in Jacksonville with Kent Justice.
You know, many are hoping the latest plan for the Shipyards property is going to hold true this time, but some city leaders say that they're waiting on more information. I want to show you the latest drawing from Jaguars owner Shad Khan. It includes a Veterans Park, the Navy ship USS Adams, a kids area. The price tag at this point is uncertain, and the new plan is different than the original one when City Council made its initial investment the last time around. So now council members say that they are being a little cautious here. The Jaguars plan's out there already. There's another proposal related to the Sea Glass Tower model from about 6 years ago. And then the third proposal in this new season of suggestions involving the vacant shipyards downtown is an innovative approach as explained by our guests here. We want to let you know, joining us now, Dr. John Newman, Chairman of the Board of Directors for Mission One Global. Cindy Lacadera joining us as well, former General Counsel for the City of Jacksonville, and also here representing, I guess, the group that has been formed that is called Jax One Innovation District. So, John, I mentioned it a moment ago as we're getting into this, the idea, the notion that it could be one spark that never leaves town. What is this Jax One Innovation District that your team is proposing here?
Can you imagine a place where you're an innovator, you have an idea, you have a concept, but you don't know how to get it from concept to creation? Yeah. You don't have the capability to have the financial wherewithal to do it, or the modeling and the processes to test that so you know in the marketplace it'll work. We bring that. And I use that as an example for people to wrap their heads around because folks experienced one spark. Right. So not that we're trying to duplicate that necessarily, and certainly we're not trying to steal anybody else's title or theme, but certainly in terms of word identification and association, that's the closest thing people could understand about that. So what we're trying to do is take people who have innovative and outside-the-box thinking, because Gallup is one of our partners. They have the intellectual capacity and human capacity to know who those innovators are around the country. And we'll be able to open up Jacksonville for a place where there's a nexus. Imagine 75 acres, beautiful landscape, shipyards and all that. I mean, that's going to be beautiful. There'll be a nice little marina and all the bells and whistles. But imagine a place where you are having this cross-pollination of ideas, where people can dream and they will live there, they will play there, they will eat there, they hang out there. And imagine at the end of that, the engine that's created. If all we need is another building, that's one thing. We don't want to just beautify Jacksonville, we want to electrify Jacksonville. Yeah. And that's what the Innovation District will do.
So, John, you're casting some vision there. Cindy, you're somebody who's been in Jacksonville for a long time, and obviously your legal expertise. As these groups come together, it's clear that these three proposals are different visions. What do you see, and how does this tie all together? Because it's not just Mission One Global, there's some other entities here, right?
Right, and working with Mission One Global and West Holdings and EMJ, what you have there is a necessary financial and intellectual and experienced infrastructure to grow something like an innovation group. Now, Ackerman has been a leader in firms in providing legal guidance. We have a director of an innovation clinic, for example. And it's because that's where the jobs are in today's world. They're in innovation. If you look at where most of the jobs, they're from startups. That's where they're coming from. And Jacksonville is poised to be there. We're a great place to live. We have all of the assets, and now we've brought together the team that has both the intellectual ability and the financial ability to pull it together. So
I'm understanding that one part of this team, when we talk about EMJ, there's a model almost from what Chattanooga has done. How does what has happened in Chattanooga explain what could happen in the shipyards in Jacksonville?
Chattanooga had a decision to make some years ago, what kind of city it wanted to be, and it was kind of not where it wanted to be at that point. And so they decided to go on a different path altogether to sustainability. They knew that a new building alone wouldn't do it. And just as we built the Jacksonville Landing, here we proved a new building doesn't necessarily do it. And they decided, you know what, we built a new building, and yet at the same time, there's not enough capacity, or there's too much capacity, rather, for building space as it exists. Then that means we're going to steal from one part of our city to populate a brand new building with all the bells and whistles in another part of the city. That's zero sum.
That's going to leave somebody else vacant.
Right. Yeah. So what we want to do is grow the growth of the job market here by creating entrepreneurs from all areas of life. I mean, Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund is a part of this. So we have a workforce development piece that will even employ people coming back as returning citizens. We need to have everybody involved. This is not just for persons of a certain class or status. This is for everybody to participate. Chattanooga made that decision. And that's the decision we need to make in Jacksonville, because we want this to be zero-sum plus, where everybody wins. And if you have this energy of jobs, Jacksonville Jobs Factory is what it's called, imagine what that looks like a couple of years down the road. Again, the buildings will be there, the landscaping's there, it's going to be really pretty, but you have to have a driver. We bring an economic driver that never stops in the city.
I love what you're talking about. It's self-sustaining, really. John, Cindy, I told you it was going to go by like that. We've got a lot we can talk about, but we know that the Downtown Investment Authority is going to be looking at the proposal and these two other proposals, and then in about a month we'll hear what the city likes and see how it goes. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ken.
Up next, a tuition-free college experience. Yes, it's true, and it's available in the River City. FSCJ's promise to qualifying students. Next on This Week in Jacksonville.
The school, the neighborhood, the neighbors, the house next door to the neighbors, the RE/MAX agent who checked off every detail she knew the family would love at 107 Meadow. The knowledge to find what's right for you. That's the sign of a RE/MAX agent.
Today, people will leave for work, school, or just to have fun. Before the day is over, an accident will change their lives forever. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For almost 30 years, we've represented families at their time of need. Our job is to try and put lives back together, to bring justice. Pain and suffering, lost wages, medical bills are real. Sometimes these injuries can last a lifetime. A lifetime is a long time. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Make tomorrow awesome with Xfinity TV from Comcast. Right now, you can get Xfinity TV for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with Xfinity On Demand included. Call 1-800-566-8080 today. Xfinity On Demand delivers thousands of hit shows, top movies, and more at no additional cost. So you can stream the latest episodes of TV's hottest shows anytime, anywhere, on even more screens. Get started with Xfinity TV for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with Xfinity On Demand included. Plus, ask how you can add premium channels like Showtime or Stars and enjoy award-winning TV shows and movies at home and on the go. It's all backed by our 30-day money-back guarantee. So it's risk-free. Enjoy top shows and movies at a great low price. Call 1-800-566-8080. That's 1-800-566-8080. Xfinity, the future of awesome.
Get back to being yourself. Back to smiling and laughing again. Back to eating foods you love. Back to living confidently. With same-day dentures backed by our satisfaction guarantee. And for new patients, a free consult and x-ray. For affordable dentures, extractions, and implants, call 1-800-DENTURE or go to affordabledentures.com. You deserve a healthy, beautiful, and confident smile.
If you've been injured on the job in the state of Florida, there's a statute that provides that you are to be given medical care at no cost to you. We have several lawyers in our firm. Workers' compensation and Social Security is what they do. Give us a call. It's a free consultation.
Ooh, a tire commercial. Just in time for that tax refund. Buy 2 tires, get 2 free with value installation on all 4 tires. Plus an extra $100 mail-in rebate when you use your Tire Kingdom credit card. Right now at Tire Kingdom. That's all you need.
A dead mother, a missing daughter.
What you're suggesting is kill the mother, take the baby. Did Nicole ever express concerns with the babysitter?
Crime Watch Daily.
Monday at 3 on Channel 4.
Thanks for staying with us on This Week in Jacksonville. And this particular week, we're talking with the president of FSCJ, Florida State College at Jacksonville, Dr. Cynthia Biotto. And one of the things we wanted to talk about, new program, FSCJ Promise. What is the promise? Because as a parent of kids who are in college and going to college, I think this is a great thing, right?
Oh, it is a great thing. The promise is if you are an eligible student who is graduating from a Duval County public school or a Nassau County public school in the last 3 years, if you've graduated within the last 3 years, including the ones graduating this May and June, and you are Pell eligible, which means that you are economically underserved, and Pell grants are federal grants to help students pay for college. If you are Pell eligible and a recent graduate, first time in college, you can come to FSCJ full-time and be guaranteed your tuition, books, and fees will be paid for 2 years for you to achieve an associate's degree.
Okay.
So the promise is you will graduate with an associate degree debt-free.
If you are eligible and you go for these 2 years and you get your work
and you have to go full-time.
So full-time. So lots of things to kind of unpack there. What made this a priority for you? And then let's talk about how that gets paid also. I'm curious about that.
Absolutely. It is a priority for us at FSCJ as the community's college. When we look at the data of people who graduate from high school but don't go on to college, we see a great majority of students here in Jacksonville don't yet have the college-going culture. Many times when we talk with parents and students, we find that they think they can't afford college. or they don't want to build debt. You know the national story about the student debt loan crisis. We want to take away that barrier and encourage people to come right out of high school and go to college. And so that was the genesis of this, along with, as we look at the students leaving high school, we can't even find them. They're not going to college or university. Many of them aren't going into the workforce. So it's a group, a demographic of student that we want to encourage to come to college. Part of that is, Kent, we know that currently we need some post-secondary experience to have a job that gives a livable wage.
Right.
75% of our jobs in the greater Jacksonville area require some post-secondary education. This is a piece of that bridge.
Yeah, so it's not that I have to have a 4-year degree. It's not that I have to have a master's degree, but I have to have some kind of that experience that gets me beyond just having a high school diploma.
Exactly.
What is the process for getting that funded? Where does this money come from? This is an endowment from FSCJ, or this is still part of the federal Pell Grants. Where does that money come from?
The FSCJ Promise is the last dollar component of a packaging. So every student will need to fill out a federal financial aid form, and we help within the high schools and our college and workshops in filling those out. Those federal financial aid forms allow us to see how much aid the federal government will help in terms of a Pell Grant that students don't have to pay back. Then we take the Pell Grant and we pair it with work study, with paid internships, and whatever is left over in the cost of tuition, books, and fees, the FSCJ Promise will pay. Now, a student must go full-time, which means they have to take 4 courses for fall semester, for spring semester. They have to maintain, they don't need a GPA to get into the program, but to maintain a second year, they have to maintain a 2.0 GPA. So that means they have to get at least a C in their courses. And they have to participate in 60 hours of community service in that 2-year period.
No kidding. Why the community service part? I like that element too.
I believe, and FSCJ as a college believes, that as we educate people for skills, one of the most important skills is learning how to be a community member. And when you can take your learning in theory and book and apply it to making your community better, you become a better community citizen. And that's what we're here for. FSCJ believes that education makes good community citizens, but so does civic engagement. And so it's just a piece of that.
Well, I'm sure you've noticed it, but in the 6 or 7 years that I've been here in the Jacksonville area, you notice that our community is really engaged and loves to give back. So I'm really happy to hear that that's part of your commitment as well. FSCJ Promise. Dr. Biotto, I appreciate hearing about it today.
Thank you so much.
I'm Kent Justice. Thanks for watching on air and online at newsforjax.com.
More people in Northeast Florida and South Georgia get their news from News4Jax than anywhere else.